I'm a report guy, but like usually we start off just chatting, and then we kind of get into like asking questions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, we
yeah,
try having fun.
yeah, we try to keep it
Yes.
almost like a podcast and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But it looks like are you in your place of practice, or is this home, or?
Yeah, this is my home. I've got a big bedroom. It's like 5 meters by 5 meters, and I'm able to have all my bedroom things as well as
Yes.
room for all my instruments. And I've got like a bit of a setup here with all my bits and pieces. So there's
I
some of my instruments.
love
Yeah.
that so much.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to like test those out in a second.
Yeah,
'Cause
it looks like you're
yeah,
prepared, so
yeah,
we'll have
yeah.
to test something out.
Totally.
But yeah, like usually, how we start just since it looks like everyone's ready, for the people listening and audience, like who are you? Like how would you describe someone
Yeah.
to yourself, what you do, all the stuff to someone you just met?
Well, my name is Samantha May. I am just like everyone else. I am here on earth at this time, and I had a pretty humbling upbringing as well, and I worked in the corporate world for many years. So I have only in just the last 2 to 3 years moved into this line of work, which is far more esoteric than just the usual 9 to 5 working at an office. So I'm just a regular person who has, I guess, followed their heart in a way and realized that there was always something more out there. And I always knew that I was meant to be doing something very different, but I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And there were these experiences and opportunities that came my way that I took, and many leaps of faith that I took. And now I am a channel for light language, and I'm a sound healer. I'm a musician, and I hold space in sacred healing ceremonies, many different ones that I hold for myself on my own, sorry, and then I collaborate with a lot of people as well. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah.
I love that so much. And I feel like many people are like resonating with that, especially now. Like a lot of people are realizing that, oh my God, I need to follow my heart. It's a scary thing to do, leaving your 9 to 5 job, like in this society. Like I'm sure over there it is too, people like the safe and stable life. But once you sacrifice like safety and security over like your passions and like your true self, basically, like that is a whole journey in itself, and you went through all of that, and that's just amazing. Like props to you, because I know like that's a really big thing in the spiritual world, is like leaving your 9 to 5 job and just like following your heart. Like that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially the support you have, the collaborators that you have. We've seen
Yeah.
several of the collaborations on your website, and it's just amazing the stuff you have done.
Yeah,
So
and there's 3 years. I'm just like, wow.
and just so and I think I told you through email and whatnot that we actually found you. Like I was just looking up random light language videos. My sister, do you remember the YouTuber you watch?
Light resonance. She
Yeah.
also does light language.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's how I learned about it. And then I told him about it. And then he found you. And I was just like, yes.
Yeah. You're one of the ones that like uses sound. Like we're sound bath practitioners as well. So
Yeah.
like we do it occasionally. But you're one of like the ones that had an activation video, had sound bath within every video. Basically you have a sound bath, and you use your voice. Like everyone uses their voice as well, but like I could tell like like it's very well trained as well. You allow that though through your light language, which is very unique. I found it beautiful.
That's the main thing, is that it's unique. Like it's revolutionizing. Like I never knew how powerful light language was, and until recently, and then just combining it with like sound healing is just so powerful in
which
it
we
itself.
also didn't know how
Yeah.
powerful that can be within itself. When we were
For
first
starting.
trying it out,
Yeah.
like everyone was just like blown away,
Like speechless. Like, I feel amazing right now. Do you guys feel it too? You know? Yeah,
Wow.
it's an amazing thing that what you're doing. So
thank you. It's a beautiful reflection, actually. I've never heard anyone explain it in that way, and yeah, just doing something that I love to do, and it's nice to hear that it's you know, making an impact, and you're feeling it from even across the oceans. So
of course.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all vibration, you know.
Yes.
I agree.
So getting into more like deeper conversations. Some of the questions that like we had is kind of holistic based and kind of like based around what's going on in the world right now a little bit. The first one was, what is your ritual? Like, how do you practice to like protect yourself from like certain vibrations, like lower ones? I know they're not bad at all times, but sometimes, you know, you want to be at a high vibration. I think that's a lot of people's goal, you know, is vibing high, always being happy all the time. Yeah, and so like that's kind of like my question is like, how do you do that? How do you protect yourself, and like what's your ritual with that?
Amazing. This is a brilliant question, and it's also one that is I could talk for a long time about, but I'm going to try and keep it quite small and not use all of our time up. But basically, the word protection I don't like to use, because for me personally, it takes myself out of empowerment and into victim mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to say, okay, I'm feeling not as empowered today. How can I step more into my power? I'm feeling very low vibrational. And so I will check in with myself. Have I been doing my daily practices? Have I been outside today? What am I grateful for? The gratitude is so undervalued, and it is so powerful to just be focusing on gratitude, coming into prayer every day. Food and exercise is huge as well. So I'll make sure that my diet has changed a lot over the past few years for a few reasons, but I will also do a few fasts over the year as well. So I actually just finished a 2-day water fast. So that helps as well, kind of clear the channel, clear the system, as we can hold on to a lot of parasites and build up candida in the body. And that is really, really linked to our mental state, and then also our spiritual well-being as well. I work with plant medicines as well. So I, for instance, kambo is a medicine that I work with a lot to help clear the body and also help to remove panema, which is, you know, like bad luck, or anxieties, depressions, things that are holding me back from stepping into my full potential. So there's lots of different things that I do, but on a daily basis, it's making sure that I have a spiritual practice, that routine that I'm doing, whether it be meditation, writing, a bit of breath work, prayer, grounding on the earth, and just also the biggest thing that I forgot to mention was doing something that you love. And I will feel all sorts out of whack if I haven't sung or played an instrument in a few days. Then I start to move out of alignment, and then I will just pick up an instrument and start to sing, and that's who I am.
Right.
Coming back to yourself. So it's really important doing things that bring you joy, that naturally raise your vibrational frequency like no other.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Like, honestly, I feel like I have been in that habit of like not following my vibe, you know, like sort of what you said is like
that natural wave.
Yeah.
Like even I was telling you know, the previous guest that during
Yeah.
meditation, I'll notice that I'm trying to control my breath. It's like trying to force happiness or trying to force
Yeah.
something that, comes to me naturally, versus, like there's so much that goes into that, whether that's, I can blame environment or
Right.
people and all this, but it all comes to what I'm hearing from you and from a lot of my own experience. It's coming back to self and realizing that those feelings of what my needs are, what my love is and joy. I think coming back and grounding to that first, definitely.
Instead of looking for external factors, like, oh, it's the environment, like you said, it's like instead of blaming it on like other external things, it's like come back to yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like that's totally like I didn't know that like protection, the word protection is like so limiting. I mean, I guess I just thought of it as like a high vibrational word, but I can totally see how like that can sort of like demonetize it and sort of step you down a little bit. So I'll definitely be trying that out. I appreciate everything that.
Yeah. A lot of people use the word protection, and I used to as well, until a teacher of mine actually said that she doesn't believe in protection, and that everything that you experience within is actually a part of you, whether it be high vibrational or low vibrational. It's just parts of you that you have rejected and not loved, and all of a sudden it's facing you, and it's so unknown to you that it actually feels like and something external, but it's actually you. And then that kind of can snowball and attract the similar energy from the collective as well. And that then all of a sudden it's like, what's happening to me, and it's like, actually, how can I step into my power and realize that there is nothing really at the end of the day that can hurt me, and I am so much more powerful than anything external, and coming into that realization.
But now thinking about it, it's like I feel like that's more living more ego based. If you think about like the ego does, it's there to protect you, and it's like what a lot of people are trying to get away from is like ego death and stuff like that. So
and you gave us a lot of things to practice too. These are definitely great things to mention. So
and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to me, I feel like I particularly practice a lot of the things you have even said. The problem I feel a lot of people have, including myself, is like the scheduling of a busy life,
like the routine,
creating a routine for myself. But I feel like something that I've been trying to do is like something as simple as cleaning my space in the beginning to clear my mind, and then feel like doing a thing that can be done every day, that aligns with that feeling of self, is something that I've practiced more recently, especially. I don't know if you've heard of Donna Eden. I've done some Donna Eden like energy work as well, and that puts me back into like the now and where I'm at and feeling. So I would highlight you just gave us a lot of stuff. I hope Donna Eden is someone you look up, because
she's amazing.
A teacher,
I'll look her up.
Her to us.
She does energy medicine, and it's all like by tapping certain pressure points in your body, and it's amazing.
Beautiful.
All right. The next thing I wanted to like steer to was manifestation. What are like your thoughts on it? How do you manifest and create your own reality?
Ooh, someone actually asked me this question last week, and I still feel like I'm a bit of a beginner when it comes to manifestation. And I feel like what is meant for me is always going to come through. And if I have any attachment to an outcome, if I And also asking myself, where are these wants or needs that I'm trying to manifest? Where is that coming from within me? And asking myself that question. If it's coming from a place of I'm not enough or ego-based desires, then often it just won't happen. And I don't think I have really consciously been able to manifest anything, to be honest with you. I feel like once you let go and surrender and just trust, coming in and living from a place of gratitude, everything just falls into place.
Exactly.
And I am still trying to trying to take my own advice with that as well, because there's many things that I wish to manifest as well. So I think the attachment that we have, and there's a teacher of mine that explained it really well, that if you really picture everything that you want it and feel it, whatever it is that you're trying to draw into your reality, and then give it away to the universe and say, it's in your hands. Whether it comes into my life or not, I am not attached. I give it freely to you, for you to make the choice whether it's meant to be for me or not. And that's the hardest part, right? Is letting go. But that's the key. So I'm still a novice in the area of manifestation, but that's what I intellectually know, which I'm trying to embody.
Of course. No, yeah. I think everybody has their own interpretation of manifestation, like baseline anyways, and I feel like that resonates with me, like when you say sort of like the methods of like having a desire and then letting it go. Like that's how I always interpreted manifestation too. There are people who like say, oh, I manifested everything in my life, like this car, this house, this everything. And I feel like that is like, they're just using like tools and stuff. And like, I don't even know if you can hack manifestation. I don't even know how that's like even a thing. But that's what like a lot of people say they're doing. And I was just like interested in like that, if you had any like hacks or anything. But
totally, I believe that whatever our reality is in this moment, I manifested all of this, but did I consciously manifest it? Did it come from a place of consciously putting it out there to the universe? A lot of it, no. Some of it, yes. Of it, yes. But I think the key is coming into that really consciously co-creating and working with the universe, which I am still learning. And yeah, I do believe that we are manifestors, and we do manifest everything in our life.
Right.
But coming into that place of conscious creation is really key.
I love that you said co-creation, because that's like something that a lot of people don't realize. It's co-creating. So thank you for saying that.
I have a question. So you mentioned, different teachers and whatnot. We know that you took a trip to India, and I'm kind of wondering, how did you end up there? And like, was that the place where you met most of your, more not memorable, I would say, teachers there?
So I went to India back in 2015, I believe. So that was nearly 7 years ago. And I went there because I had just finished 2 years teaching English in South Korea. And I wanted to do a big trip around Southeast Asia before coming home. And my plan was to actually do a yoga retreat in Thailand, but I found out that it was going to cost the same amount to do a retreat in Thailand than it was to actually fly to the yoga capital of the world and get a certificate and be trained in Hatha yoga. So I decided, why not? Let's go to India. At the time, I was not on this path at all. And I was just thinking, oh yeah, I'll tick another country off my list and it'll be another part of my adventure. And I actually went, I think it was in May or June. I think it was in May. And there was a massive heat wave on in India at that time. And the yoga itself was very strenuous. And I had been doing a lot of partying in Thailand and other countries before going there. So I wasn't very well prepared. As I say, I wasn't on this path. But what I really took away from there is that I met up with a guy who was giving Vedic astrology readings. And I've had many readings over the past few years. And I feel that when you start walking on this path of spirituality, you go on a bit of a healing binge and you want to try all the things.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of that. And for me, this guy who gave me this Vedic astrology reading, he mentioned quite a few key things which really resonated, had actually happened, and then did happen in the future. And one of the main things he said to me, which is relevant to my path now, is because I was an English teacher at the time. He said to me, "Oh yeah, you're going to end up doing some sort of sound therapy thing." And I was like, "Okay." Got home and then Googled sound therapy degree, and like I took it that logically and thought, I'm going to have to go back to university and get a degree in sound therapy, whatever this is.
Yeah.
Which then slipped my mind until a few years later when it all kind of made sense. And yeah, one experience after another led me onto this path. So yeah, he mentioned quite a few things which have come into fruition. So that was super significant to my path, and also not consciously, but very on a subconscious level or unconscious level, I did receive a lot of these divine codes which are found in Rishikesh. A lot of yogis around the world, their dream is to be able to one day go to Rishikesh. And I believe I did actually capture some of those ancient codings, which then kind of have made sense in my life now going forward. So very grateful for that time, even though if I went back today, it would be a totally different story.
Right. No, yeah, that's a beautiful story.
I wanted to ask, so when then after the light language, start for you?
So I guess what really pulled me onto this path and what kind of woke me up into who I am and what I really want to be doing is I got invited to a sacred healing ceremony, which we worked with plant medicine, ayahuasca. And I have worked a lot with this plant over the last few years. I've taken a bit of a break, but over 2 years, I did many ceremonies, and I also got pulled in to help assist with these ceremonies. And the medicine really helped at quite an intense level to clear my nervous system, to clear my channel. And I'm a singer. I've always been a singer my whole life, ever since I was a child. And so I assumed that light language would come through my voice first, and it didn't. It actually opened up through my hands. I had a big activation at the end part of a ceremony where I had a lot of clearing from the womb space and the throat, which is very intrinsically linked, both physically and energetically. And I didn't realize at the time what I was doing, but I was shaking out all of this trauma. And it was ancestral trauma, collective trauma, and it went way, way back. And I didn't intellectually understand what was going on at the time. But afterwards, a few hours after that activation and that clearing, I started doing this thing with my hands, and I had no idea what it was. And it was just this coding. It wanted to come through, and I couldn't explain it. I didn't know. It just felt right. My human was confused, but my higher self and my inner knowing was like, oh, she's remembered. This is something that you've done for lifetimes, and you know what this is, and it doesn't need words to explain it. And then after that, I was very called to do an online light language activation with a teacher in Australia. And basically that just gave me the permission to open my voice and make sounds that I felt like I had made before in childhood, but that got shut down because it wasn't normal. And then all of this stuff started to flow, and it started to open up this multidimensionality within me. And then because I'm a singer, it was able to be translated very easily through my toning, through song. And from there, the rest is history. As light language, I've been able to activate myself and help to unlock different ascension markers within me to help really fast track my journey, which then again is also quite challenging because you have to deal with the integration of all of that. So as much as it has been a bit of a fast track journey, I've also had to learn a lot of how to integrate all of this, and also about emotional alchemy and processing energy and shedding of skins, and dealing with a lot of my shadow. And that's what a lot of people kind of skip out, a lot of that topic, I find, when it comes to spirituality. But for me, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah,
Just dealing with the darkness.
That's the journey, the shadow work, for sure.
Yeah. I was one to also skip it until like last year.
I think we've all tried. We've all tried
to skip it.
Yeah, the bypassing, it's real.
So the last question, I know she has a list of things she wants to ask, but I feel like this is vital, is what is light language then?
Yeah.
To
you, of course.
Yes. That's a brilliant question. And I am still learning exactly what light language is. I believe everyone that works with light language or has received light language, they have their own individual relationship with it. And it means something differently to every person. But for me, it is this ancient form of expression that transcends the mind and can help to deeply heal and activate someone who is receiving it on such a cellular and DNA level. It can help you to remember parts or aspects of yourself that you have forgotten, that you maybe are just asleep to, and it awakens so much multidimensionality. It also helps to, I find, make space in the subconscious realms of the mind to help recode different aspects to bring through more light and understanding. It is an ancient form of communication that cannot be understood through the analytical mind. It must only be understood through the heart, and only those who are ready to receive and open to receive can receive it. This heart-to-heart communication, soul-to-soul communication, soul speak.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm almost speechless from that, because I felt like I was even receiving light language while you were saying that. So thank you for that explanation, description of it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Let's see. We talked a lot about a lot. Let's see. I think this is kind of heading towards like the dark side of things. Not really dark side, but like what shadow things or like challenges have you faced like in the spiritual community? Like you're a sound healer, channeler, you do Reiki, like light language. What has been some like challenges that you face doing all of that?
I believe I've been very lucky and haven't come across too many somewhat like challenges. I wouldn't call them challenges. I would, they're just different steps on my path. And I think a misconception that a lot of people have is that this the conscious communities and spiritual communities are all filled with such amazing people who are full of love and light, and it's just beautiful. And I did think that as well. I came out of the corporate world and I was like, oh, I can't wait to leave the politics of the corporate world. It's such a mess, and I'm just ready to just immerse myself completely full time with conscious community and conscious people. And what actually happened is I realized that there was just as much politics in conscious communities, and just as much unconscious behavior, but then kind of masked as consciousness. So it's kind of worse in a way. A lot of spiritual bypassing, a lot of I guess spiritual leaders putting themselves forward in a way where what they were embodying in the background behind the Instagram page, behind closed doors, didn't match at all. So there's a lot of inauthenticity, and discernment would be a big one. So being very discerning, as I say, like I went for a while of being like binge healing and wanting to try all of the things, and I think everyone has to learn discernment their own way. You can't tell anyone, don't listen to that person or this person, or listen to this person. Everyone's got to learn their own way. Everyone has to find out for themselves, and it's often the hard way, but it's such key lessons and learnings. And that would be my main one, I think, would be discernment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like there is like a stereotype in the spiritual community, like of a lot of people being all love and light, and it's not always like that, like you just described everything, and I'm like, it's just good to know that like other people experience the same thing, like it's not all love and light in the spiritual community. It's like shadow work, and you have those people who pretend to be conscious or think they are conscious and are still having like bad habits of, doing stuff like outside of the conscious realm, basically. So
what I love is that you almost see that as lessons then for yourself. Is what I'm gathering from what you're saying. But
huge. It's been a huge lesson, even just recently. And I've taken a step back from social media at the moment because I'm starting to realize this at such a more deeper level, what's kind of happening and the dynamics that are playing out in the communities right now. And I guess another one that I didn't mention was the guru complex, and putting people on pedestals, and leaders wanting to be seen as above everyone else. And that is not the case at all. I will never put anyone on a pedestal, and I don't think anyone should. We are all the same. I am just as normal as anyone walking down the street. There's nothing, we're all special in our own way, but it's, never look to anyone as your guru. There's the truth, your truth is within you, and it's really about looking inward and finding out for yourself.
Definitely. I vibe. Okay, let's see. Okay, since we're kind of talking about like social media and stuff, metaverse, stuff like that, how do you see like that impacting
spiritual and like the paradigm shift, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's just like a weird timing that came up, I don't know if you know much about it, but it's like Facebook's new plan to make everyone virtually into like headsets and have everyone be AI.
Totally. Yeah, I've actually surprisingly haven't done a lot of research on this, so I don't know exactly what the metaverse is, but I'm just from what you've said, I guess it has come up a lot in some of the circles that I am in, and some of the people that I follow as well, and realizing how a lot of people are pulling back and they no longer resonate with the likes of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and they're creating new platforms, private platforms that are uncensored for themselves. And I really feel like it's whatever you resonate with. Some people are going all in with this metaverse and crypto and blockchain and all of this stuff, and they're just they're really, that resonates with them, and they are really all in with that. And then some people are like, actually no, I want to pull everything off and create my own platform, and work with platforms that are more supportive of my message and are not going to censor me and are kind of more private. So I guess it's what you resonate with. And for me, this is a tough one, because I feel like my work hasn't, and my message hasn't come to a place where I've been censored, or I haven't actually shared too publicly through these platforms about exactly what I do. Like, I share some of my art, I share some of my transmissions.
Yeah.
But my message, however, I haven't really shared at all. So I haven't experienced that. And so I think, when I get to that bridge and cross it, then I'll make a decision then. But for me, I think as well, like, just tuning into that, I think I will try and keep things a bit more protected and a bit more. I probably will seek out other platforms rather than Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So we'll see.
It's a big debate right now. Like, it's really, really like something that I need to like meditate on for a while before I like decide anything. I feel like, because like almost like you, I don't know much about it either. Like, there's websites about it and stuff, but I don't really see like the truth in it. You know,
there's
like,
still a lot of vagueness into it, a lot of
exactly
money
what
being
it is.
poured,
And
it's daunting to someone that isn't really wanting to be more involved with technology and all this stuff. Like, I think more spiritual people or conscious people are wanting the opposite, so I can understand the different platforms. We follow someone named Spirit Science, or a channel named Spirit Science. I don't know if you've seen that at all, but he basically, he's brought a lot of things to light. He gets censored a lot too, but he feels like, not saying, hey, I'm gonna go into the metaverse, but he sees it that, like, for example, his thing is like, I don't know if you know Rhythmia or like different, you're aware of Rhythmia. He's like partnership with them and whatnot. Like, he basically wants to create like a Rhythmia within the metaverse for people that can't make it there all the time, an experience where I think that's a bold attempt to try something like that. So I think, like you said, it's kind of depending on oneself if that resonates with them or not. And I feel like that's the best way to discern something like that, is if it resonates.
Totally. And also being open to potentially your truth changing down the track,
Right.
And I think there's a lot of people really trying to find out what their truth is with this whole AI, artificial intelligence, and metaverse thing at the moment, and they having to like really, really take a look, and because we don't know the full picture yet, it's kind of hard to make that discernment. So keeping an open mind and really coming back to your core values with that, that kind of metaverse and Rhythmia. I don't know about that. That doesn't sit quite well with me.
Concept. I don't know about it either.
He's trying to bring the love and light to the metaverse, though.
Basically, is what right. People are stuck in it. How can I get you out of it? Is kind of like his message, I feel, with that. But
totally,
kind of segueing to something else. I wanted to know a little bit about what is the Holistic Hub. If you can explain what that is.
Yeah.
Great. So the Holistic Hub is a community in Auckland, New Zealand, where there's been a few of us who are on this path where we're either yoga teachers, sound healers, breathwork facilitators, and we've wanted to find a space to share all of this beautiful medicine with anyone and everyone who is interested in it. It's actually an old church, an old, I think, Catholic church, which has been empty for a few years. And we have been so graciously gifted the space. And we get to go in and share our medicine with the community there. So it's a huge space, and because it's a church, the acoustics are just incredible.
I can imagine,
especially for someone like me. Yeah. So it actually all started out when I was assisting my friend. We created a business together called Enrich Breathwork, and created quite a big community, and ended up teaming up with a few other people doing something similar. And then we just so happened to manifest this space. These beautiful people who owned the property said, "We love what you're doing. We'd love to help. What can we do to help?" And so we have the space to use for now. And we're just so grateful, so lucky, and we gather there all the time. Nearly every week there's events on that we can go, and it's all alcohol free, drug free, and it's just a space where everyone is welcome, and all parts of them are welcome to just be and express, and to be loved. So we've actually taken down the cross at the top of the building at the back there, and we've replaced it with a love sign. So it's beautiful. I love it there, and we're just so grateful to have the space, and it's incredible. That's the Holistic Hub. Yeah.
Awesome. I definitely feel like that needs to be franchised.
Yeah. Well, we're thinking about that actually. There's been talks of kind of extending that out to different parts of New Zealand. So
because I know a lot of healers that practice at home, or just like don't practice like a lot because they don't really have like a space to do that, because it's hard getting like clients. And even like for myself, like I'm a Reiki practitioner as well, and it's hard getting like the word out of like what I do, so like having like a community of like, oh, I have like a yoga teacher and like stuff, like having like that community so people kind of know like what it's all about, like it's like all holistic healing and stuff. A lot of people get like freaked out by like what we're doing basically, like light language and like Reiki and stuff. They're just like, I don't even know, that's too much for me. I'm like, if we like, I like that community, like it just makes it more easier for people to be like, okay, this is just another example of yoga or something like along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're quite lucky in New Zealand, and there's quite a few people on this path. The community is quite big, and I haven't really had to explain myself too much, or maybe I've just been super I guess sheltered in a way, because I have kind of gone headfirst into my work over the past few years. But it's all been received really well, and there hasn't been too many people kind of questioning or doubting what I'm doing, or I haven't had to convince anyone, or maybe perhaps I've just been super sheltered, and this has just been my path and my experience. But we find, especially in New Zealand, there's so many people seeking this kind of work out, and so the Holistic Hub is just such a beautiful space for people to come physically and receive these different types of modalities, and to do something a bit different on their Friday evening instead of going out for drinks at a bar,
All right, we're running low on time, so the last thing that we're going to do, if you're down for, is would you be able to like channel light language? If this isn't like a good space for you, I totally understand right now. It's like,
sure. But, I definitely can. Can I just get my sound gear set up? It'll take me a couple of minutes.
Take your time.
Fine. Yeah. I appreciate it.